the idea that still might not be fully realized, that we are energy. We are this power. We are the source, God, the universe, the absolute, the flow. And as the second principle of Hermes says, as above, so below, as below, so above. The world repeats on various scales. Every part carries a trace of the whole. Understand yourself to grasp the universe. The seasons change, and we change with them. Life is forged by a constant dynamic, which at times may seem static, but at its core, everything is moving, and everything is always vibrating. The next 2 years, we're entering a new stage. Those who have wished for clarity and knowledge, understanding, awareness, will increasingly feel the stories about experiences after death. Regressions that have left a deep mark, or even channeling connections with other civilizations. Those who have not yet chosen this kind of reality will continue to receive multiple signs, synchronicities, and signals to guide them, to guide and encourage them that way. But their free will always permit them to choose whatever they wish. Big changes are coming. Old models and dogmas are collapsing as control weakens and loses power. People are opening more and more to the love and light they contain because they realize that everything described as divine and presented in different forms is within themselves. Of course, the paths to this realization are endless, as other forms, but anyway, the foundation is the same. Each one of you is the source. When I hear this statement, do you know what we usually say to ourselves? If you've been waiting for the secret of secrets, the hidden reality, here it is. You are the origin, creating everything and everyone around you. What's our usual reaction? Wow. Wow. This is really amazing. Mark, it's so inspiring and magical. I managed to see the beauty in everything, in every single moment. I'm grateful for life every moment. Really? We activate the mechanisms of doubt and immediately thoughts enter our minds. Then why are there so many wars, nasty and bad people who do evil, demonic forces, the devil, and pests of humanity? Why? Weren't we all light once? Religion will answer you. Evil comes from free will and the fall from grace. God allows evil because without freedom, there is no love. But the modern conscious person somehow feels like they're being screwed. And they don't want to satisfy their curiosity with that answer. It's not enough for him. He is searching. He knocks on the door, asks, and comes. It just doesn't suit him. Why? He already knows there are many dimensions beyond the scales. Some truths and possibilities. He also lives in the matrix. He also pays bills, but inside his soul, he is free. He is free to fly. Just like Jonathan Livingston the seagull. Jonathan is a seagull who wants more than crumbs. He wants to fly better and higher. He trains, falls, gets up, and tries again. The other seagulls laugh at him. Why do you need this? We just look for food. That's what we're made for. They call him crazy, a rule breaker, and that hurts him, but he doesn't stop. Ultimately, the flock drives him out. Alone, he learns freedom begins in the mind and heart, and then in the wings. After a while, when he masters flying, he returns, not to brag, but to help them. He shows anyone who wants to that they can fly. And do you know how the story continues? When Jonathan returns to guide us, very few choose to follow him, even though he is there and is the example that shows them it can be done. Most seagulls call him an exception. They describe him as a legend. Something that is rare and no one can repeat. Why? Because that's how they justify their own laziness. Because it's easier to make up a convenient story than to take responsibility for your own actions. It's easier to say that he's special than to train and change yourself. And Jonathan tells them, I'm no different from you, we can all fly. The flock would rather offer opinions and comforting stories than venture into the unknown. And here is the power of the story. Most of us prefer to turn the extraordinary person into a legend that is unattainable, just so we can point at them and justify our own irresponsibility. Instead of accepting that we have the equal, absolutely equal, and the same potential, because the whole is one. Each one is contained in this game of the world, and not a single one is greater than the others. Not a single one is greater, each one is unique and stands out with what they are. But at the same time, each one is one and equal to the others inside their essence. And that's exactly where the message is. Let's not look at our heroes as exceptions, but as mirrors for what is possible within us. Subscribe to our channel so you can fly as fast as thought. Wherever you want to go, you have to start with the thought that you have already arrived. Did you know some people and groups are already leaving social networks? Really? Can you picture a world without TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook? YouTube? Just about 20 years ago, the world was like that. Some of us remember it. Now it's different. For some, this might sound extreme, something impossible. For others, maybe it makes sense. For a third group like me, we find our own little paths. 10 and 10, by the way. Here you go. Quite recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, I decided to replace my smartphone during my off-work hours with my dream phone, BlackBerry. When I was younger, you couldn't find them cheap. Now they're about 100 lever used, but I can only make calls with it. So I don't get distracted from the present, from what's around me, from being present, at least what is in my control. To be able to do the rest now, that's up to others. We humans, however, are very interesting. You've thought about it, people, and we're very stubborn. In some of our brains, programs, I emphasize deeply, that we ourselves have set, we ourselves have created, and we ourselves choose to maintain every day. It's interesting how people trust the internet, Wi-Fi and invisible waves everywhere. I emphasize waves powering everything. But it's still considered that energy, frequency, and vibration are just some kind of mystical nonsense. Very interesting. This is a different energy. This is different information. There is a drawing, a crowd of people. A line has formed toward a room with a sign that says free internet. Beside it is another room with a door labeled library. In front of the library, there's just one person, but at the internet door, an endless line. The truth is, you can catch the internet even from the next room if you first reach for knowledge. We allow all sorts of nonsense to take away our attention, and all kinds of materials on the internet to define our essence and even reprogram our choices. We store this information in our subconscious, and when someone tries to distance us from our typical daily routine, whether it's through an unusual suggestion, a remark we haven't heard before, or simply by hearing how we react to a certain situation, we push it away, ignore it, and even pretend we haven't heard it, because the arrow reaches the subconscious. However, it has built a wall of beliefs that is both stable on one hand and virtual on the other, which are just personal beliefs, points of view, nothing more. But it can't be penetrated because it's nourished daily. We become rough, vulgar. We start getting angry at the smallest things, from the first glance, from the second remark, or from a random phone call. We come up with excuses, saying that what I'm doing right now and where I'm going is what I like. And I choose it consciously. I want to be there. The habit has already become an addiction. And I would even miss it a lot if I stopped doing it. How come? How can I break this routine? I haven't even thought about it. At some point, a random bird appears in your life and hits you mentally on the head with Thor's hammer, so you really feel it. And if then we don't wake up running away, but we don't have many warnings, and a big catharsis happens. Something that we will talk about for many years as a memory that changed us, or as the unfortunate event that, if it hadn't happened, I would already be the person I've always dreamed of being. An excuse under an excuse under an excuse. We create stories to make ourselves feel better, more to calm our mind, but the heart remains ignored in a very small black box somewhere inside us. Because we cannot change others if they don't allow it and don't want it for themselves. So on one hand, it's important to note that we shouldn't force anyone into anything. If things happen by force with pressure, it's a struggle. It's better to let them go. But only if it happens naturally, gently, with finesse. That's when they truly blossom. On the other hand, it's important to say that it's time to realize the very essence of free choice. What does that mean? You can't convince others of your point of view, and there's no point in trying. That's why there are others, because they have a different point of view. Stop defending your point of view as if your life depends on it. You will feel how control, tension, and many of your old beliefs start to fall away and change on their own, without you having done much of anything. In other words, we are always making choices, and that is our greatest power. But when we are surrounded by people we love or want to change, we often, consciously or not, overlook the fact that the only thing we can control is our reaction. How we react to what happens outside. Watch now. But if we know that what happens outside is directly connected to what we emit and feel inside and what we said inside, then we simply realize that if we change our views, if we change ourselves, if we change the way we treat ourselves, the world changes as well. It will definitely change. Doing good daily eventually comes back to us. Helping others leads them to help us. It's clear to everyone that we'll make mistakes along the way. There are no perfect people. But is that really so? Everyone is actually perfect because they are unique. There are no others like them. This shouldn't boost your ego or pride, but it should make you more modest and humble, because no one can fully understand you anyway. There will be people who share many of your views and others who will just cover their ears and pretend to listen to you. They're my favorites. But anyway, the power of your reaction is always within you. And this is a new chance to reprogram your cells, your DNA, and all the energy of your essence, not the infinity that you are. The brain contains neurons that aren't solid like a wall. It's just good at convincing us that they are solid. These neurons can change. They can be reprogrammed, they can be reset. Your thoughts, people in the most ordinary and the most boring situations are some of the most important for your future and for the reality you wish to create. Pay attention to them, not just when you're at a seminar, a lecture, a talk, or when you're watching a video like this. Not just in those moments. That's exactly where the key to your personal happiness lies. And your freedom? Remember, whatever happens in your life, you always have yourself for yourself. You are responsible for your thoughts. The victim mentality is an old pattern, and little by little, it is starting to be rooted out of all of us for good. Did you know that the only difference between steam and ice is the vibrational state of H2O, of water? In the same way, did you know that the only difference between where you are right now and where you want to be is your state of vibration? And did you know that everything that will take you there and could take you there is already here and already available to you? Did you know that when you take an idea and repeat it over and over and over again, you are actually putting it into your very cells? A cell takes in the idea and starts to change. It divides. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. Imagine thousands of new cells every second now carry both your body and this new idea. The more you act on it, even on days when you don't feel like it and it's not that comfortable, the more strongly it starts to vibrate within you. The more strongly it becomes a truth for you, something normal for you. And then you don't just think differently, you become different. Every cell becomes saturated with the characteristic of that particular idea, and suddenly you say, even I've always understood things this way, I've always seen the world this way. Who convinced you of this truth? Who convinced you of the truth that you can't achieve what you desire? Who convinced you to believe that you can't live a life filled with happiness and your greatest dreams? You are the one. That's why it's so important to hold on to our aspirations, to think about where we're going, what we want to create, and with that vibration we start attracting thoughts, people, and situations of the same frequency which move us and pull us more and more in that direction. That's how the universe works. You are all sources. Everyone creates their own reality. And if you really think about this statement, that you are all the source, and don't just dismiss it as another random phrase thrown into your subconscious, then something very interesting will happen. Your subconscious will start bringing back images and memories to wake you up and remind you how many times in your life you have been helped, how many times you have been saved, how many times you have been lucky. Fate has been kind to you, and chance and the cards have simply fallen into place just like that because life decided so. And either at this moment we will continue to give away our power from ourselves and put it into such definitions, or we will simply realize that all this time we have been doing all of this ourselves. From a much broader perspective compared to the one of the person we are right now. And from today on, we will not only be careful about what has been thought, we will be free to make wishes, to take action, because each one of you at your core is a magician of reality. Each one of you in your essence contains all the power. From the source holds all unconditional love. And the unfolding of all that is, each one of you is a light that can light up millions. Each one of you has a priceless gift, which is a gift to give to the world, to leave that magic of the spark inside himself, to have the opportunity to feel more and more the joy of never, here and now, and from this at all, to be able to exist in this way. This is the beauty of each one of us. And if we realize that the real programs, beliefs, and thoughts really come first in the mind, and all of this that we describe as bad and incompetent
Seagull.
It's just in our minds, but at least we give ourselves a chance to see more and more the beauty of all life. Think about that.